You've built the product and the sales team is operating at high velocity. Demos are booked, leads convert, and the top of your funnel is full. But right as you reach the finish line on your largest six-figure deals, the process hits a wall. This is a standard sales funnel. At the bottom, those hard-earned leads hit a rigid barrier, the enterprise security review. While your team attempts to answer hundreds of highly specific technical questions, the deal stalls. These prospects simply disappear from your pipeline. Your sales team is incentivized by revenue and speed. The enterprise compliance team on the other side is incentivized by risk mitigation. Failing to treat security compliance as a proactive sales tool means you are effectively capped by the size of the companies you can actually close. To move past this bottleneck, founders have to choose how they intend to prove their platform is secure. The common path is the checkbox approach. You purchase a cheap automated compliance scan just to have a passing grade on paper. Automated scans are low cost and low friction, but they lack depth. When a rigorous enterprise security team reviews those results, the surface-level nature of the report can actually raise more red flags than it resolves. The alternative is a manual expert audit, typically costing between $5,000 and $12,000. A multi-surface review of your application, your cloud infrastructure, and your code. This path is demanding. It requires your senior engineers to pause feature development to walk an external auditor through your internal architecture. While the upfront cost and disruption are high, this investment removes the specific technical friction points that stall enterprise contracts. A true expert audit examines three distinct surfaces: the application API, the cloud infrastructure, and the SDLC. SDLC, or Software Development Lifecycle, refers to the standardized process your team uses to write and deploy new code. This requires opening your entire proprietary architecture to a manual reviewer. Automated tools struggle with this because SaaS platforms are multi-tenant. They rely on complex business logic to keep data from different customers isolated within the same environment. Scanners miss logic flaws like broken object-level authorization, or IDOR. With BOLA, a user in tenant A changes a document ID in an API request to pull sensitive data directly from tenant B's vault. Only a manual reviewer can identify this legitimate-looking failure. Identifying these gaps is the only way to prevent the cross-tenant breaches that compromise every customer on a platform simultaneously. Proving you have manually mitigated these logic-based threats builds the technical trust required to clear an enterprise security review. The internal cost of this audit involves pulling engineers off their primary tasks for 3 to 5 days of screen sharing sessions. Developers often resent automated PDF reports because they are full of false positives that waste time and disrupt the product roadmap. A consultative audit changes that. This flowchart shows that a direct explanation from an expert leads to faster remediation and less internal pushback compared to an automated report. Instead of handing over a checklist, the auditor works alongside your team, explaining the reasoning behind specific security controls as they navigate your cloud environment together. You are sacrificing a week of feature velocity to establish a shared understanding of secure architecture patterns across your entire engineering team. This shared knowledge reduces future friction as your team begins to build with these security requirements in mind by default. The goal of the audit is a specific deliverable, a report where every finding is paired with an actionable remediation instruction, like a specific code change or a cloud configuration update. This structure maps directly to the trust service criteria required by SOC 2. SOC 2 is an auditing procedure that ensures service providers securely manage data to protect the interests of their clients. Implementing these changes will swallow your engineering backlog with mandatory fixes in the short term. However, when you proactively provide this authoritative report to a procurement team, it often serves as a substitute for their individual security questionnaires. This saves your leadership team hundreds of hours that would otherwise be spent manually justifying your security posture to every new customer. The engineering backlog grows, but the time spent defending your infrastructure during the sales process drops to near zero. Whether this investment is necessary depends on your current stage and who you are selling to. We can map this by comparing your target customer size against the complexity of the data you handle. Pre-seed startups, consumer apps, and teams selling to small businesses are in this low-complexity quadrant. For them, a manual expert audit is unnecessary. The time and financial cost of a manual review would be a significant drain on their limited resources. These companies should rely on automated tools and bug bounties to maintain a basic security posture while conserving their runway. Overinvesting in complex security infrastructure too early burns capital without providing any measurable benefit to the sales cycle. But Series A and B SaaS platforms handling multi-tenant data for large organizations fall into this quadrant. These are the companies that see their growth stall during enterprise security reviews. For them, the price of an expert audit and the lost development time is a mandatory prerequisite for the enterprise market. You are trading temporary internal friction for engineering alignment, SOC 2 readiness, and a clear path to closing high-value contracts. Investing in a comprehensive audit identifies the technical gaps today, so they don't become the contract-ending deal-breakers of tomorrow. It's the difference between hoping a deal closes and having the evidence to prove it should.